Hi everyone. I hope that you're all doing good today, and I hope that you had a very good day. So you'll be having pronouns from the grade 8. So first you log in using the aplusstudent.com, and then you click on your name, language arts, and then we go to grade 8. So we scroll down to pronouns. So we have a lot of lessons under pronoun, but we will first have three lessons today, and in other lessons we will have the complete part for the pronoun. Okay. So we have choose between subject and object pronouns. That'll be our first lesson for today. So we'll just get like the explanations and the details about the subject and object pronoun before we move on to the test. You can use a subject pronoun as the subject of a sentence or clause. So when you're talking about subject pronoun, it's usually like the subject of the sentence. It's starting the sentence. It tells who is doing something, and it's usually at the beginning of the sentence. So the subject pronoun tells you who is doing something in the sentence, and of course, it's at the beginning of the sentence because it is the subject pronoun. You can also use a subject pronoun after a linking verb, like is, are, was, were, or be. So these are linking verbs, and you can use a subject pronoun after them. For example, I am Jane, like that. So you have linking verbs, and then you use a subject pronoun before them or after. The subject pronouns are I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So these are the basic subject pronouns that you can use in the sentences. I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. They are the subject pronouns that we can use starting the sentence in the beginning, or that is telling us what the person is doing in the sentence. For example, you say they are having rice for dinner. So they there signifies what the people are doing in the sentence. So that's it. They. After finishing the experiment, I showed my teacher the results. I here. The subject pronoun is I. Okay, it's the subject of the sentence. So it's saying that after the experiment was done, I showed my teacher. So if you didn't have the subject pronoun here, you wouldn't know what the sentence is all about or who's showing the teacher the result. It would just be after the experiment showed my teacher the result. That's incomplete. It doesn't make sense because it's definitely missing the subject pronoun. So the subject pronoun is important to let us know who is doing something in the sentence. Yes, it was she who won the first place. Yes, it was she who won the first place. The subject pronoun here is she, and it's used after a linking verb was. So if you remember, we said that you can use subject pronouns after linking verbs like is, are. In this situation, she is used after was. which is the subject pronoun. You can use an object pronoun after an action verb. So, action verb is doing what is going on in the sentence, what the person is doing. You already has the subject as the person who is doing something in the sentence. The action verb is what is going on in that sentence. So, you need to know what is happening in the sentence. That is the action verb. Okay? You can use you can also use an object pronoun after a preposition. So we have prepositions, and you need to use the object pronoun after prepositions like at, for, on, off, to, or with. So these are the prepositions that you can use object pronoun after. So you have the preposition, you can use the object pronoun after that. The object pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. It's like the total opposite of the subject pronoun. So these are the object pronouns that you can use. Okay, the object pronoun that you basically see in sentences. They cannot be avoided. You would see it in the sentence. Okay, just a moment. Okay, yes. I hope that you all can hear me. Alright, I'll go back to sharing now. Okay. So I'm back to sharing. Okay. So I like I've said, these are the basic for the subject pronoun and the object pronoun. So the object pronoun is used after an action verb, or could be used after like prepositions, which are this ones here. And then the object pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, them. So these are the object pronouns. On the other hand, subject pronouns are used as the subject of the sentence. They are used to begin the sentence. So if you're starting the sentence, what you basically see is the subject pronoun, or sometimes it could be in between. So yeah, so subject pronouns are I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So these are the subject pronouns. After finishing the experiment, my teacher showed me the result. So my teacher showed me the result. Me now is the object pronoun there. The object pronoun me is used after an action verb showed. So the action verb is there, and me as the object pronoun is used after that. My teacher showed the result to me. The object pronoun is used after a preposition too. So take notes that we said um, object pronouns can be used after prepositions. So that's why we have that here also after the two. Okay, so let's go through like some examples first. Is Diana going to the comic book convention without dash? So you have to select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence. So it says that is Diana going to the comic book convention without dash? So you have to get the right object pronoun, which is me, to complete it. So me is the object pronoun that is needed to complete this sentence. So we have select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence. The toddler wobbled towards Dash with his arms waving in the air. No. Wobbled towards what? Her. With his arm waving in the air. So you have a missing pronoun comes after a preposition towards. So you should use the object pronoun. So you should also know your prepositions so that sometimes you can also determine where the right answer should be. So sometimes you can see that, oh, it was a preposition like towards. So you have to know your pronoun to your prepositions as well so that you can figure out whether it's the object pronoun that will be there or the subject pronoun. Bob sat dash during the department meeting. So Bob, so it said with us is sat with us. So us is the missing pronoun there, and it is the object pronoun that is missing. So let's move on to the test and then just answer like some few questions. Select the correct pronoun to complete the sentence. So you need to select the correct pronoun and complete the sentence. Everyone in the history class had read the document except for him or he. So you need to remember what the pronouns are, the right pronouns. Okay, you need to know the ones that you use for the subject and the ones that you use for objects. Okay, so except for him. So him is the right pronoun that should be here. The toddler wobbled towards Dash with his arm waving in the air. This was like in the tutorials, and toward is a preposition. So remember that we said object pronouns can be after prepositions, okay? So wobbles towards she or her. Okay. She is used for subjects. Alright, I always rinse the dishes before I put it dash in the dishwasher. Before I put, is it them or they in the dishwasher? So this is object pronoun. Okay, so before I put them in the dishwasher. During Bob sat with dash during the department meeting. Bob sat with we or sat with us. So sat with us is like the most suitable pronoun that should be there. That is Diana going to the comic book convention without, is it without I or without me? Take notes that I is usually like in the subject. So I is gonna be subject, but me is a suitable object pronoun. Are you absolutely certain that it was she or it was her? So, what is the right answer? Are you absolutely certain that it was her or it was she. So it was. So if you click on the answer and then maybe you find out that it's wrong, you can as well just scroll down here and then you see the right answer that is supposed to be there. Okay, you can figure out the right answer. So she should use the subject pronoun she, because if you remember the linking verbs from the subject, we have was here. So was is a linking verb. So you have to make sure that you use a subject pronoun after a linking verb. So that's what we do. So you do not have to start from the beginning again, just continue where you left off. While the Richmonds are traveling, Dash have asked Ava to care for their dog. Is it them or they? So if you say them have asked, it's not right, but they have asked Ava to care for their dog is very suitable and correct. The noise from the construction site distracted Dash from my homework, distracted me or distracted I from my homework. So what's like the most suitable pronoun to be here? So you say me, you have to use the object pronoun. When we gave Nathan a comic book for his birthday, he thanked we or he thanked us. So if you say he thanked we, that doesn't make sense. But if you say he thanked us, then that's perfect. Dash visited several cathedrals and museums while in Toronto. Is it me visited or I visited? So the most suitable should be I visited, because remember that I is like the subject pronoun. You use it to start a sentence. Okay, so if you haven't done the first lesson for the pronouns, you have to try to complete that, and we move on to the next one here. So complete the first lesson if you haven't done that. And if you have any questions, you can just ask on the chat box. So we have identify pronouns and their antecedents. So you have to identify pronouns and its antecedents. So what is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word that takes place in that takes the place of a noun or a noun phrase. So it takes place of the noun or noun phrase. That's what a pronoun is. The noun or noun phrase that the pronoun refers to is called the antecedent. So take note that a pronoun takes place of the noun or noun phrase, and then the noun or noun phrase that the pronoun refers to is called antecedent. Rachel is tired even though she slept for 10 hours last night. The noun Rachel is the antecedent of the pronoun she. So noun there is the Rachel is the antecedent of the pronoun she. Apparently, Tom and Sarah just landed. Who is picking them up? Now, the noun phrase Tom and Sarah is the antecedent of the pronoun them. Okay, so the pronoun is them there, and then the noun phrase or the noun is usually the antecedent. Surprisingly, my brother's basketball team won all of its game this season. So, what is the most suitable antecedent there? The noun phrase The noun phrase my brother basketball team is the antecedent of the pronoun its. Taking care of pets can be difficult, but it is quite worthwhile. The noun phrase taking care of pets is the antecedent of the pronoun its. So we can have a look at some. So we have some examples here. Select the pronoun whose antecedent is Oprah Winfrey. So Oprah Winfrey used the success of her career as a television talk show host to launch a magazine and a television network. So what is the pronoun because Oprah Winfrey is like the antecedent there, so she's like the noun. So the pronoun of Oprah Winfrey is gonna be her. Use the success of her career. So the Oprah Winfrey that is the noun and her is the pronoun. So that's it. When my sister and I were traveling in Mexico, we explored the ancient ruins of the Teotihuacans. So select the pronoun whose antecedent is my sister and I. So what is the pronoun between sister and I were traveling? So we here is the pronoun of my sister and I. Okay? All right, this one up here says the Constitution was written in 1787 and its first 10 amendments were added in 1791 to describe individuals' rights in detail. So select the pronoun whose antecedent is the Constitution. So the Constitution, what is its antecedent? It is its, the Constitution's its. All right, let's look at some more. All right, so let's look at some more examples. Some people believe that the seasons are caused by the Earth's distance from the sun, but they aren't. Earth's tilt, not its distance from the sun, determines the season. Now, the pronoun whose antecedent is the season. So, what is the pronoun? They. That is the pronoun here. At the age of 23, Jane Goodall took her first trip to Africa. At 26, Goodall returned to Africa to study chimpanzees. So, Jane Goodall is the antecedent. What is the pronoun here? The pronoun is her. Okay? Now let's move on to the test. Okay. Some people believe that the seasons are caused by the Earth's distance from the sun, but they aren't. Earth's tilt, not its distance from the sun, determines the season. Select the pronoun whose antecedent is the season. So it should be they, this one here. They aren't. Okay? In the 1700s, tobacco was so valuable that it was used as currency in many American colonies. So, whose antecedent is tobacco? Its. This is the pronoun here. Schooners were once the most important ships in North America, but by the 1800s, they were only really used for coastal trades and fishing. So, whose antecedent is the schooners? So, they. Okay? The pronouns whose antecedent is the Constitution. The Constitution was written in 1787 and its first amendments were added in 1791 to describe individuals' rights in detail. So, what is the antecedent? It's. That's the pronoun here. So Winifred used the success of her career. So her there is the pronoun. We use this. We saw this from our tutorials. But let's say that you click on the wrong answer because you are not certain. You don't know. It will be wrong, and then all you have to do is just scroll down, and then you get more detailed explanation. You get the explanation again and understand why you got it wrong, and then you move on and continue. You do not have to start all over again, just continue from where you left off. In physics, we learn that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. So, it is the pronoun here. When my sister and I were traveling in Mexico, we explored the ancient ruins in Teotihuacans. Now, my sister and I, we, my sister, and is. So we is the pronoun for my sister and I. Okay. Your tongue does far more than just help you eat. It is also an important organ used in the production of language. So, is it is, or it is? Which of this is the most suitable pronoun? So which of this? Is it is, which of them? So you click on this one, it is wrong because of, or maybe you saw it is here. No, is not part of, it is only it. That is the pronoun. So you click on that and you get your answer. If you ever get it wrong, you have to scroll down and read it again, like I have said. At the age of 23, Jane Goodall took her first trip to Africa. At 26, Goodall returned to Africa to study chimpanzee. So, her is the pronoun of Jane Goodall. So, her. Not only was Lillian Mola Gilbert an engineer and a writer, but she was also the mother of 12 children. So she is the pronoun of Lillian. Okay, so that's it for identify pronouns and their antecedents. So if ever you haven't completed this test, you have to make sure that you complete it. Okay, and we'll move on to the third lesson, but that'll be the lesson for today. We have some more lessons, but we will have to do that in our other class. Yes, we have more lessons for this pronoun, so we do it in the next lesson. So now we will go on to use the pronoun that agrees with the antecedent. So you have to use the pronoun that agrees with the antecedent. So a pronoun that agrees with both of them. Take notes that we said a pronoun takes the place of a noun or noun phrase. The noun or noun phrase that the pronoun refers to is called the antecedent. Okay, a pronoun must agree with its antecedent. So just like when we would say the name of a person and then you have her, there, or she, you have to make sure that the pronoun and its antecedents agree. If they do not agree, your sentence is incorrect. So singular pronouns take the place of singular noun as usual. If you have singular pronoun, it will take the place of a singular noun. Singular pronouns include I here. Singular pronouns include I, you, she, it, me, him, her, his, its, my, and your. These are the singular pronouns. Rachel is sad even though she slept for 10 hours last night. So now, she now, and Rachel. Rachel is singular, right? So the antecedents and the pronoun, which is she, must agree in that sentence. They must have a connection. If they do not have a connection, that means something is wrong. So that's it. Surprisingly, my brother basketball team won all of its games this season. So it said its games, and they must agree. If they're not agreeing, if it's not suitable, then there's something wrong. Okay? Can you open this jar of pickles? I can't get it to open. Plural pronouns take the place of plural noun as usual. Plural will go to plural. Or of nouns joined by the conjunction and. Now take note, plural nouns takes the place of plural pronouns takes the place of plural nouns, or nouns joined by the conjunction and. Plural pronouns include we, you, they, us, them, our, your, and their. These are plural pronouns. My neighbors spent the weekend at their cabin in Salt Lake, the whole. So my neighbors at their cabin. So this one, their here is the pronoun. So it has to agree with my neighbors. Where are the cans of soup I just bought? They aren't in the cupboard. So where are the cans of soup I just bought? So like I said, they need to agree. There should be a connection. If they're not agreeing, you know that there's something wrong with your sentence. Izzy and I spent all day on our science projects. Izzy and I spent all day on our. So it already said that Izzy and I, so it's like plural. You and your friend. So you spent what? Our. So this is it here, the pronoun. Okay? So that's it for the agreement of the antecedent and the pronoun. Let's look at some examples. When Anne and I stayed home all Friday night, Dash did our laundry and watched a movie. So you have to select the right pronoun that is suitable. So because it's an and I, you know that it's plural. So your pronoun needs to be plural also. It's already an and I, so you need to have plural. Okay. Maria volunteers at the hospital on weekends. Dash delivers flowers and other gifts to her new mothers. Now, she delivers. Maria is already like singular, so you shouldn't have a plural pronoun, okay? You should have a singular pronoun. Alright? Rudy and I plan to vote for Dash friend Mitchell in the city councilor election. Now, Rudy and I, it's plural already, so you need to have a plural what? Plural pronoun. So it is our, okay? All right, let's move on to our test and answer the questions. Complete the sentence with the pronoun that agrees with the antecedent in bold. It needs to agree. The element sulfur is a yellow solid at room temperature. When burned, however, melts into a red liquid. So the pronoun is missing. What is the pronoun? Eats. Eats, because it's not referring to a person or maybe friends or anything. It's like a non-living thing. So of course you're gonna use it for that. It's not a living thing. There are thousands of snail species. Some of dash are used throughout the world as a source of food. There are thousands of snail species. Some of them is the right pronoun that should go with the snail species, the thousands of snail species, which is the antecedents. Okay? When my sister and I went camping with Dash, stepdad, he snored so loudly that we couldn't sleep. My sister and I, it's already plural, so you need to have a plural now, pronoun. So our stepdad. When Anna and I stayed home on Friday, Dash did our laundry and watched a movie. Anna and I, it's already plural, so you should have a plural pronoun. So Anna and I, we. So we should be the right pronoun that goes with it. Okay? When Hillary Rodham Clinton was elected to the United States Senate in 2000, became the only first lady to have held national office. She became, so it's referring to one person. So you should have a singular pronoun. Milton Bradley didn't create board game. His interest is learning made Dash a pioneer in the field of early childhood education. Made him, okay? Made him. So it's singular, singular goes together with each other. Mother Teresa first worked as a high school teacher before devoting Dash life to working with Indians poor. Her life, because she's just one person. Okay? So as usual, the antecedent and the pronoun needs to agree. The antecedent is the noun there, and of course we have the pronoun there. Maria volunteers at the hospital on weekend, delivers flowers and other gifts to new mothers. She. Rudy and I plan to vote for Dash friend Mitchell in the city council election. Vote for our friend. Okay? Our friend. The letter between Abigail Adams and her husband, President John Adams, shows that Dash was one of his important advisor. Shows that she was one of his important advisor. Okay? All right, so you have to make sure that you complete this test if you've not done that. Take note of what the antecedent is, the pronouns. You need to make sure that they agree with each other. We've done 3 lessons from here. Next lesson, we'll continue from the use reflexive pronouns. Okay, so you have to make sure that you understand the antecedent. If you have any questions, you can ask on the chat box just so that I can explain better and you can understand. So you can ask me if you have any questions before we finish. Just ask any questions. Any questions? Feel free to ask whatever you have. We'll continue from the use reflexive pronouns in the next lesson. Okay, so I'm guessing that there's no questions. So we will end here for today. And we will see again in the next class, which is probably on Thursday or so. Do have a good night. See you. Bye.